Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to give you this little mini series because I love talking about video games, and a trend came up on Twitter recently, and I'm all about those like listing your favorite kind of gaming stuff on Twitter whenever it pops up. But this one was like really involved, and it was really involved for me to figure out everything. And I was like, I put way too much thought and detail into this for it to be a simple Twitter post for every year. So this project right now is my favorite games starting from 2022, this current year, and going all the way back until 1989 and beyond. A slightly more beyond, not much further, but I say 89 because that's my birth year. And I thought a while back it'd be cool to do a project when I turned 30. I was going to do a project, my top 30 games. And then I was like, well, 33. It's now I'm 33. OdinSpack 33 seemed pretty fitting to do something like this. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Is this going to be my top 33 years in gaming? But again, there's going to be some bonus beyond, but not too far. It's only going to go to 87 because before 87, I don't really have too much interest in games before that. It's a little before my time. I mean, technically it is before my time, but anyway. Regardless, by the way, if that Twitter post gets the required amount of likes for each of these years, I don't care. I'm doing it all anyway because I really like video games. And when I was doing this list, it just made me remember how much I really enjoyed so many of these games. A lot of them are some great memories for me, some are some kind of bittersweet memories for me. So I was like, there's a lot of research into this. This is not being a single Twitter post. There's way too much work for a single Twitter post. So I'm going to try and post these as often as I can. I know my upload schedule is not the best. I haven't uploaded a video since like Ring Fit, whatever. But whatever. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to do this because this is something that I'm just interested in right now. And I want to do it. And I've been meaning to make this video for a little bit now. Some ground rules, because I mean, like, it's my list, like, what does it matter? But some ground rules for how this list will work. Um, it's going to be based off of North American release windows or launch dates. So if a game came out this year in North America, then, like, it'll be on this list. And I mean, like, if a game back in 1990, came out here, but, like, in 90 and like I don't know, 88 came out in Japan, then I'm gonna be taking the 1990 date because it's North American. So that's like an easy rule for this list. I'm gonna be taking into account original launches of those games, with the exception if a game is like a remaster or a remake or anything that kind of improves the game. I'm going to be, if that's like my favorite, I'm going to be taking that date into consideration. So if a game's like remastered and I love that remaster, that's the year I'm going with for that. Also, I'm going to be taking into account fan projects, translations, ROM hacks. All of that's on the table. And as far as year for that, that's whenever that particular project was released. So if a fan translation came out for a game that was never released here, I'm going to be going by the year that the fan translation came out, because that's when I would be able to play it. And if for whatever reason there's a game on here that never came out in North America and only in Japan and was never worked on at all, and I really like it, then it'll be the Japanese release date. There's none of those on this. I'll just say that now. Also, collections. If there's a game compilation that's on here, that's fair game. Whenever that collection came out, but nothing that's like evolving. Like, how like Nintendo Switch, the online for the NES and SNES is like constantly evolving. I'm not counting those. But anything that was just like a finite collection. Here's 6 games. Here you go, and you can buy it physically, and that's it. Like that counts. That I'm counting that. So I mean, this is my list. I can do whatever I want, but I figured I would tell you all of these rules, and then you can come at me later, and because you probably won't remember any of these. That was that was what I thought of when I made this list. So if you're curious to any of these um, games that end up showing up on the list, that's how I came to the conclusion for the years for them. Okay? All right. That's the boring stuff. Let's talk about the games for 2022. Uh 2022, I haven't played a lot. This is my year to clear. I don't know if I said that already. I've done like a million takes of this, so I don't know if this is actually this take. I wasn't supposed to purchase anything beyond what I had planned on purchasing this year. That was the goal for this year. Uh, so I've bought a little bit more than that, but honestly, I've only played 4 games that actually released this year. So not a lot to choose from if I'm listing my top 3 from each year. Did I say that already? I hope so. So I'm listing my top 3 games from each year. I'm going to give an honorable mention to a game I played last week called Salamander County Public Television. I was gifted this game to play on stream by a friend. It's like you can buy it on Steam. This isn't the plug for this, but I mean I guess this is now, but it's not intended to be. I honestly thought of putting this at my number 3 spot, but uh, I'll get into why it's not when I talk about my number 3. But I did want to mention it because it was a really fun game, and I highly recommend it. So, what a weird way to start off this list, I'm sure. A game that you probably haven't heard of, but it is a really wacky WarioWare-esque game, and I just wanted to give it some attention because I thought it was a lot of fun. And honestly, it could have made this list. It really could have. And maybe when I get around to this 3rd game here, maybe it will actually become my number 3. All right, let's talk about my bronze medal, my number 3. It's Triangle Strategy. I was really looking forward to Triangle Strategy when it was announced because I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics. You'll probably hear more about that in a future video. But I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, and this looked like one of those HD 2D remakes or like releases, like Octopath Traveler, but in the strategy RPG setting, and I was really excited for it. However, I still haven't finished it, and I know what you're saying. How can you put a game that you have finished on a honorable mention, and a game that you haven't finished as your number 3? And that's because I honestly believe when I finish this game, it will be my number 3. There are some things that have been holding me back from playing it in that it's just a long RPG, and I'm just really terrible nowadays at getting through games like that. But I honestly think when I finish it, I will have enjoyed it more than I have a game I actually have finished. Which, again, I know that's really weird to say that. Um, there's just some things that haven't kept me hooked to play for so long because there's been like a lot of grinding and whatnot in the game. But I was initially not too impressed with the game, but after the demo window of the game, which is like the first 3 chapters of the game, it actually picks up quite a bit, and the story actually becomes intriguing, and the characters are cool, and the actual combat strategy becomes really intricate with a lot of the characters. So there's a lot going on in the game, and I'm playing it on the hard difficulty, which is probably making my game time take longer than it should be. But that's my number 3. My number 2 is a free-to-play game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. That released in February, I believe. It may have been January. I was really looking forward to this because I got into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly when Duel Links came out on smartphones, and then it came out on Steam, and I played it a bit on there too. But I had always been interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dating back to high school, but I never really got into it. I had seen it. I think I had played maybe a duel or two, but I never got into it. So a free-to-play game, a lot more intriguing. So Duel Links kind of got me hooked, but it was like a speed version. Like it was a quicker format. Whereas Master Duel is like the full-blown game. Like it's how Yu-Gi-Oh is played. It doesn't like dance around any like the mechanics or anything. Like it's everything. And so I was really excited for it, and it didn't disappoint. I have since stopped playing the game That's just kind of the way free to play games go with me. Is I play them for a while, I enjoy them, but I eventually just set them aside because I want to play some other stuff. And when a game just keeps offering more and more content, like I can only go for so long before like okay, this is my stopping point. And there's a chance I could go back to it if something comes out for it that I want to experience. You know, it's not gone. All my data is still there if I want to. I can get back into it at any point. But it was really cool to experience that game and then go from kind of learning like how I knew like basic strategy to Yu-Gi-Oh to starting to learn like more intricate modern ways where it is really insane. So it's having a card game as one of my favorite video games of the year. Not gonna be the only time you see that on this list, but I think they did a really good job with it. It was a little rough around the edges when it first came out. There wasn't a lot of content, but they started to add some more stuff. And getting to play with friends was really fun too, because I hadn't done that in Duel Links, so I actually got to play a few duels here and there with my friends, and we did some fun draft uh, duels as well. Shoutouts to Pixel Plume. We did some of those fun duels, and I got to learn a whole bunch of cards. I had no idea how they worked, and it was really interesting. So there's my number two. Number one. Number one is an actual contender. There are some games I still want to play from this year. One in particular that you haven't heard on this list, and it won't be because I haven't played it. But there's one game that could actually be a contender for Game of the Year for me. That like shadow dropped 2 months ago was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, and so this is my number one. I had been looking forward to this for a while. I'm a big fan of beat 'em ups. They're a lot of fun co-op. I have some great memories playing a few beat 'em ups in arcades on like SNES with like Turtles in Time, Final Fight 3. So like I really like the beat 'em up genre. We got Streets of Rage 4 a couple of years back, and I really enjoyed that one as well. Now this one's not. It's not made by the same people, but it's like published by this Dotemu. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, that's besides the point. This game did not let down, and I had hoped so badly that they would put Casey Jones in because he's like one of my favorite characters from the 1990 movie. I'm a big fan of that movie. I did a whole project on the original Nintendo game with references to the movie all throughout it. So I'm a big fan of that movie, and I was so excited when they released the launch date trailer for the game, and they showed that Casey Jones was in it. Unfortunately, you have to unlock him by beating the game, so you can't have your first playthrough be with Casey Jones, which is a little bit of a letdown. But whatever, it's not a big deal. It's a fun game to replay a bunch of times. Uh, I don't think I've actually experienced it 6 player. I think I have 5 was the most I think I did. But it's 6 players. It's insane. It's such a cool game. It has so many references to other video games, other Ninja Turtles games. For sure, I know that for sure. Possibly the movies. Actually, no, for sure the movies. It's littered with Ninja Turtles nostalgia and references. But beyond that, it's a great game to play. It just feels fun to hit things in the game, like a beat 'em up should. It's fun to play co-op, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It actually has a lot of stages, I feel like, for a fighting or for a beat 'em up, more than I thought it was going to have. But I really didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. It's a fun playthrough, definitely one that you'll want to play through more than once. I played through it, I think, 3 times at this point. I think twice on my own and twice on my own and twice co-op. So 4 times. I played through it 4 times now. All right, well never mind. It's not 3 times. I played through it 4 times now, and that's the way a beat 'em up should be. You should want to play through it more than one time because you spent money on it. So definitely an actual contender for my game of the year. I know I'm making this in August. Maybe we'll revisit this at the end of the year, and I'll tell you if things have changed. There are some other games I do need to get around to still, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time for 2021. So hope you enjoy the series. I've been OdinSpack. Catch you later.